Hi guys, Brett Atwater here, and welcome to my weekly segment called Start 'em or Sit 'em. I'll be giving you fantasy advice about who to start or sit week 5 at every skill position. Start 'em quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger, Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Ben's fantasy numbers at home in 2 games this season. 259 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception week 2 against the Cincinnati Bengals, and 300 yards, 5 touchdowns, week 4 at home against a very good Chiefs defense. Those numbers should get you excited. And who does Big Ben get week 5? A matchup at home against the New York Jets, a defense who just allowed a banged up Russell Wilson to put up 309 yards, 3 touchdowns against them last week. I like the sounds of that. Quarterbacks would also start week 5. Derek Carr, Oakland Raiders, at home against San Diego. Jameis Winston, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, away at Carolina. And Carson Wentz, Philadelphia Eagles, away at the Detroit Lions. Sit-em quarterbacks week 5. Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons. You're probably sitting there right now saying, this dude is crazy. He's telling me not to start the number 1 quarterback in fantasy. Well, I may be crazy, but I hate this matchup away at Denver. Denver has not allowed multiple passing touchdowns to any opposing quarterback this season. And here's a list of the quarterbacks Denver's faced. Cam Newton, Andrew Luck, Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston, all very good fantasy quarterbacks. And the only quarterback to have over 200 passing yards was Andy Dalton, who had 206, 0 touchdowns. There are better options out there this week than Matt Ryan. Quarterbacks I also dislike this week that I would sit on my bench. Matthew Stafford, Detroit Lions, at home against Philadelphia. Brock Osweiler, Houston Texans, away at Minnesota. And Ryan Tannehill, Miami Dolphins, away at the Tennessee Titans. Start 'em running backs, week 5. Melvin Gordon, San Diego Chargers. 29 rushes for 139 yards, 1 touchdown. 26 rushes for 159 yards, 1 touchdown. And 24 rushes for 126 yards, 1 touchdown, is what the Oakland Raiders defense is giving up to opposing running backs over the last 3 games. Match that with the fact that Melvin Gordon has 6 rushing touchdowns in his first 4 games this season. It's hard not to get excited about that matchup. With Gordon getting involved in the passing game also, I expect him to find the end zone and put up RB1 numbers this Sunday. Running backs I would also start week 5. David Johnson, Arizona Cardinals, away at San Francisco. C.J. Anderson, Denver Broncos, at home versus Atlanta. And Frank Gore, Indianapolis Colts, at home versus the Chicago Bears. Sit-em running backs, week 5. Ryan Matthews, Philadelphia Eagles. 22, 9, and 2. Those are Matthews' rushes each game starting week 1. 77, 32, and -5. Those are the yards that Matthew has rushed for this season. Both the rushes and the yards are regressing in the wrong direction. Pair that with the fact that Darren Sproles, Wendell Smallwood, and Kenyon Barner are becoming a larger part of Philly's running game and going against the Detroit Lions, who are the 5th best defense against opposing running backs this season. Matthews should find himself on your bench this weekend, and he should probably get comfortable there. Running backs I would also sit in week 5. Carlos Hyde, San Francisco 49ers versus the Arizona Cardinals. Matt Jones, Washington Redskins against the Baltimore Ravens. And any Detroit Lions running back this weekend at home against Philadelphia. Start 'em wide receivers, week 5. Sterling Shepard. Very quietly, Shepard is putting together a fantastic rookie season and is the 22nd best wide receiver in ESPN standard scoring. Putting aside a below-average Week 4 performance against a very robust Minnesota Vikings defense, Shepard has been spectacular over the first 4 weeks. The matchup away at Green Bay against a banged-up Packers secondary, I like the chances of the Giants throwing the ball a lot to keep pace with Green Bay, and Shepard getting many targets. I also think Odell Beckham Jr. breaks his 5-game streak and no touchdowns and finds the end zone this weekend. Wide receivers I would also start week 5. Kelvin Benjamin, Carolina Panthers, at home against Tampa Bay. Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas, Denver Broncos, at home versus Atlanta, and Travis Benjamin, San Diego Chargers, away at the Oakland Raiders. Sit-'em wide receivers Week 5. Terrell Pryor, Cleveland Browns. If you have Pryor, you're probably still rolling him out there, but this is a tough matchup. The Patriots and Bill Belichick are notorious for shutting down the opposing team's best offensive target. They held DeAndre Hopkins in check to 4 catches for 56 yards in Week 3, and I expect Pryor to be in line for the same sort of treatment. I expect the volume and targets to be there, but the Patriots to make whoever starts at quarterback for the Browns to look elsewhere away from Pryor. Wide receivers I would also sit Week 5. Any Houston Texans wide receiver versus the Vikings, Stephon Diggs versus the Houston Texans, and Kenny Stills versus the Tennessee Titans. Stardom tight ends Week 5. Cameron Brate. Cameron who? Brate is a name you should have on your radar and in your lineup Week 5. He is the 8th best tight end so far in fantasy this season. 5 catches, 46 yards, 2 touchdowns Week 3 against the Rams, and 5 catches, 67 yards against a very good Broncos defense last week. Brate is quickly becoming one of Winston's favorite targets. Brate going against Carolina, who are the 29th best defense against opposing tight ends this season. Cameron Brate should be in line for a nice fantasy game. Tight ends I would also start Week 5. Rob Gronkowski, New England Patriots, against the Cleveland Browns. Delaney Walker, Tennessee Titans, away at Miami. And Hunter Henry, San Diego Chargers, away at the Oakland Raiders. Sit-'em tight ends Week 5. Eric Ebron, Detroit Lions. Ebron is putting together a nice fantasy season after 2 seasons of streaky disappointment. What I hate is a very tough matchup against the reliable Philadelphia Eagles defense. Ebron is the 10th best tight end in ESPN standard scoring, and while I think he will finish the year as a top 12 tight end, I don't like the matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles defense that hasn't given up 50 yards or a touchdown in the first 4 weeks to opposing tight ends. Tight ends I would also sit Week 5. Dwayne Allen, Indianapolis Colts, away at Chicago. Vance McDonald, San Francisco 49ers, at home versus Arizona. And Lance Kendricks, Los Angeles Rams, at home versus the Buffalo Bills. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please chuck me a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe. If you want to follow me on any social media platform, my information is posted below. And if you have a lineup question and don't know who to start or sit this week, feel free to hit me up on Twitter and I'll reply my choice. Best of luck this weekend in your matchup and see you next week. Cheers!